This is gonna get messy for a minute here, probably. Uh, let's see. Just for a minute while I figure out what I'm doing and how to do it. Oops. Okay, and what? What is going on here? I don't understand. I don't understand. I don't understand. Get out of there. Oh, I've been invited. There, I chose the wrong one. There we go. All right. Now the next step. Really? All right. How's that? That should be better. Seeing me in stereo, are you? All right. Let's see if I can get this set up in a reasonable manner here. So there's where Mercy is going to be, more or less over there. And here where I am, over here. And we'll start out with the important stuff here. Okay, so here is our meal, and here is the highlight of my meal. Well, no, actually, it's not, but this is really good. This, I'm gonna uh, have myself a flying IPA from Ichigo Beer uh, Brewery. Ichigo, uh, Japan's first microbrewery. Right? So nice of them to write it in English. Right? Uh, it's in Ichigo Beer Company Limited, Niigata, Japan. Niigata is actually the first place in Japan that I lived. I lived in Niigata for 2 years before I came to Kumamoto. And that's where this beer is from. And at the time that I lived in Niigata, they didn't have such a wide variety of beers. This Flying IPA, I do not recall it being available at that time when I was there. Um, but it's available now. They have a whole line. They have pale ales and a red ale and blonde. They have some with the famous Niigata Koshihikari rice in it. But anyway, let me pour myself a beer. It's a lightly colored pale ale. It is a pale ale, right? An India pale ale. Nice head on that, don't you think? Anyway, so this is my beer for this evening, and then we've got the chijimi, which if you know Japanese food, it's kind of like okonomiyaki, but this is the Korean version of that. Um, American, I don't know what it would be. It's a flour base, but it's not anything like a pancake at all or a biscuit or anything. Um, Flour base, and it's got
Oh, this is the chijimi. Hantai. Can you how to
Oh, I don't know. I think yeah, I don't know how to do that. We'll just assume that they can figure it out. But anyway, they don't read Japanese anyway, most of them. So right, so it's okay. Anyway, yeah, this is the Chijimi. It's basically flour and so the powder is flour and mixed with nira, which is what the sprouts from
leaf from the garlic.
Garlic, yeah, the garlic leaves, yeah, and shredded carrot, thinly sliced the carrot in there, and
mixed with the kimchi.
Mm. And then here we've got natto mixed with now it's got carrots on it too, but natto mixed with thinly sliced red onion. Natto, is the fermented soybeans. Very healthy, high in vitamin K, which is, of course, is good for you. Keeps your blood flowing smoothly and so on. So anyway, that's that. And this is our sauce. Need a spoon for the sauce, my dear. I'm waiting for that. I'm going to have myself a nice sip of beer. That is good. It's nice. It's it's an IPA, so there's the hoppiness to it. It's got some bitterness to the hops. I couldn't tell you which hops they use, but it's a very, very palatable beer. I will say that, and it's reasonably priced. I think this is about a little over $2 for a what is it, 12 ounce, approximately equivalent to a 12-ounce can, 350 milliliters. Delicious.
It's good.
Quite good. You can taste there's onion in the chijimi also, right?
Because a little bit. I put a little bit onions. Did you taste just a little?
A little bit of onion. Did you put any of the kimchi?
Yep.
Some kimchi in there, along with the nira and the carrots and so on.
This one.
Oh yeah, when you look at it from there, it appears right. You can read it correctly. Yeah. See, what if we put show live? See, now it shows it there, and so if you put it up there, you'll put it in front of your camera, dear, over here. You don't know where your camera is? Your I pointed over here, dear. See,
Oh, it will not. Oh.
It takes just a second. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's right.
Oh.
Yep, we're still new at this broadcasting game here. This is quite delicious. It's not too difficult to make.
Just mix all water.
Now, if you're gonna make the chijimi powder mix from scratch, I don't know what all you need in there. You need, I think it's got, I can't remember what it is. I mean, it's flour and then it's something that binds it together and makes it kind of mochi mochi. So this is mochi mochi, right? Like nagaimo or something, but maybe there's nagaimo powder in it or something.
I don't know.
Anyway, this is I mean, I guess if the closest you could come to standard American food would be pizza. I mean, but it's not at all pizza-like, right? If there's no cheese and tomato sauce, right? So it's already completely different than pizza. But if you put mix the toppings in with the dough and cooked it up, but it's much better than that. Oh, my dear, you cooked a lot.
No, that's only good for two.
Okay. Good beer makes everything more delicious. Oh, Abyss, hello, welcome, welcome. Looks like a scrumptious meal. I can't stay long because I'm having one of my Insomniac episodes. Nice to meet you both. Oh, well, thank you for dropping by. Really, thanks a lot. Hope you can manage to get some rest. Insomnia is not a pleasant thing.
Oh yeah, Samina says so. It's night there. It's still 4 o'clock, huh?
Mm-hmm. So where my mom is, it'd be like 2 o'clock in the morning. So, it is quite a delicious dish. And then the natto. Some people, I think I've talked about it before, some people don't care for natto because it has an odor to it. The fermented soybeans, have that fermented smell to them, but
it smell good.
I don't mind it at all myself, but some people are sensitive to the smell. The natto is mixed with onion and a little of the tare, the sauce that comes with the soybeans, the natto.
I mix with balsamic.
Oh, so Mercy added a little balsamic to the mix there. That is nice. And like I said, the onions and the carrots.
No rice, just this one.
Well, we're getting our carbohydrates with the chijimi. Quite good. Quite good. I know there's a lot of chijimi there. I may need another beer. Fortunately, although it's Wednesday, I don't have classes to teach tomorrow. I will be doing my broadcasts.
Tomorrow yakiniku.
So tomorrow will be kind of a marathon for me. Tomorrow morning I will do my regular broadcast. My regular Friendly Feud. That starts at 6 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Pacific time. And then after that, I'll be doing my Friendly Feud with hopefully Jeff will be able to stop in for that. And anyone else that wants to contribute to the conversation is welcome. And then maybe about this time again tomorrow will be our yakiniku broadcast. Yakiniku, I mean, basically it just means fried meat. Yakiniku, the Japanese style. It's not really barbecue because it's done interior.
Inside the house.
Yeah, you're grilling the meat inside the house. And yes, I mean you can use either gas or electric. You know, we use electric, of course. And it but the smell of the cooking meat does permeate the home for a couple of days. So yeah, anyway, so this is, I mean, it's not an uncommon Japanese meal, but like I said, it's based on, or comes from Korea, actually.
Korean food.
I've only been to Korea once for a couple of days, so I can't tell you how authentic this is compared to Korean food, but
the original.
This is good.
How about the takoyaki? Original in Japan or Korea? Japan? I think Japan.
I think it's Japanese. It's hard to tell. So, like, tempura is actually from Portugal. John Novikov. Hello from Hamilton. Thanks for dropping by. We're having our evening meal. It's
meals and lunch together.
Yeah, it's our dinner. Yeah, lunch and dinner together. So late lunch or an early dinner, however you want to look at it. And this is the chijimi, Korean style food.
Korean style food and Japanese style food. Natto.
Yeah, the natto.
Instead, mixed to the rice, we used only vegetables. What do they call this? Carrots and onions.
Yeah. Typically, natto would be mixed with, or would be mixed up and then put on top of a hot bowl of steaming hot bowl of rice, and so you eat the natto along with the rice, and it's really delicious that way. In fact, I'm not Japanese, obviously, and I like Japanese rice, but I don't really care to eat rice, just plain white rice alone. Japanese will do that, just take rice and form it into a rice ball, what they call onigiri. Basically, it's just basically your white rice. It's got a little bit of salt to it because when they salt their hands so the rice doesn't stick to their hands while they're making the rice ball, and they'll eat that and be satisfied. I never really liked rice enough that I was satisfied with that as even as a snack. It really wasn't satisfying for me. But natto on top of a hot bowl of rice is really quite satisfying. I could get by for quite a while with that.
And top also with eggs. I really like that.
Eggs, yeah. I like to put the hot Chinese mustard in my natto and mix it up, so it's got a little bit of the, not the French's yellow hot dog mustard. I'm talking about the the Chinese style mustard that's really hot. Put just a little bit of that in the natto and mix it up, and it's nice. But this natto is different. Oh, John, thank you for the high award. Yes, thank you very much. I hope you enjoy this little broadcast. If you have any questions, we'd be happy to answer your questions. We talked about the beer maybe before you got here. This is the Flying IPA beer that I'm drinking from Japan's first microbrewery, Ichigo Brewing, Ichigo Beer Company, I guess it is, Ichigo Beer Company. And this is their Flying IPA. As craft beers became more prevalent, this small microbrewery also started putting out their own variations. You know, IPAs are very, very popular. So they put out their own. And this is quite good. It's 5.5% alcohol. And just your standard IPA, but it's good. I mean, a good standard, not not some like a cheap imitation or something. This stands up well against most good IPAs. And our Chijimi here. So basically a flour mix, and then adding some vegetables, a little bit of kimchi, the nira, which is the leaves of the garlic, yeah. And then here's the natto mixed with the onion and carrots and a little bit of balsamic vinegar. Natto is very high in vitamin K, so it's very good for you. Keeps your blood flowing smoothly. If you're taking high vitamin D supplements to try and boost your immune system, it's a good idea to maintain good vitamin K levels as well. An overabundance of vitamin C, as you probably know, can contribute to the accumulation of calcium in your system.
Oh, I forgot.
But
Oh my
vitamin
God.
K, K2 will help to prevent that from happening. I do like natto. When I go to sushi, I usually get one natto maki, the natto roll. We went to sushi for the first time in a year. I mean, we'd taken home before, but going there, I think it's been more than a year since we've been to the sushi shop.
No, one time. I think it's what time?
That was.
I don't remember.
Anyway, we used to go every month, but then for the first time in a long time, anyway, we went and ate sushi, and we had like 30 plates of sushi between the two of us. Of course, the standard is 2 pieces of sushi on one plate, but the more expensive things like the fatty tuna or the scallops, I mean, they were really, really big.
Scallops.
Big scallops, yeah. My display froze, but I think it's okay. Because over here, it seems like it's okay.
Just like mine before that, I thought it's not already. It's also hung, but it's okay.
Yeah, I seem to be okay. Sorry about that. Yeah, just checking my broadcast there. seem to be hung up, but maybe not. So, as I was saying, for the first time in a long time, we managed to go to a sushi place, and a place that has all our favorites. They've got a ebi with shrimp with avocado and shaved onion and mayonnaise on top of the
sushi.
Yeah, and on top of the sushi, and it was very nice. We like that. And but yeah, like I was saying, the scallops and the fatty tuna are a little more expensive. One plate is still only 100 yen, so less than $1. But one plate of the expensive ones, you only get, one piece instead of two, as you normally do. Yeah, so food prices, I mean, compared to the Philippines, food is expensive in Japan. But compared to America, no, I don't think so. I don't think food is expensive, particularly expensive here. I mean, the really good stuff. I mean, if you want to eat really high quality Kobe beef, the Wagyu, the really high end Japanese beef, it's quite expensive.
It's double the price of American.
Oh, more than double. Probably 3 or 4 times. Yeah.
American beef. Even pork is expensive here.
Now, when we go to the grocery store, we usually try to buy local. The meat and pork. Like Kumamoto, Miyazaki. Kumamoto is where we live. Miyazaki is nearby, and they grow a lot of beef in this area. So we try to buy, the local beef. Chickens, they don't generally say where, which prefecture they're coming from, but we buy Kokusan, the Japanese raised chickens and so on, rather than imported. You can buy things, the imported meat's a lot cheaper if you're not particular where they come from, but we like to support the local economy as much as possible, and we like to know a little more about the quality of the food that we're eating. So buying local does both those things.
And it's delicious than the imported,
Yep.
Imported meat.
And they've got the, what is it, the chidori, the local chicken. Yeah, it's really quite good. The meat's a little bit tougher, but the meat has much more flavor. It's quite good. You want half, dear?
That's yours.
Mine?
You can't eat that much.
I think I'll start with half. Yeah, and anyway, after we finish up here, relax, play some games, play a game of Uno. Still trying to get Mercy familiar enough with, or comfortable enough with playing Uno so that she can join us online.
I will try next time.
She doesn't like to play because she doesn't like to lose.
I want to lose. A winner don't want to be lost. So a loser. Good stuff. Oh, we got our dessert too. Kumamoto has a Costco now. Just opened up at the beginning of the month. Haven't been there yet, but there are a couple of shops that actually sell Costco goods. They buy them in bulk and then resell them And of course, you don't need your Costco membership then, and you don't have to drive to the Costco, although the Costco is only about a 20-30 minute car ride away. So it's not the distance, but the crowd, since it opened only, what, 3 weeks ago, the crowds are still, well, quite frankly, the crowds are ridiculous at this point. Crowds at Costco are always, especially on the weekends, are always big. I mean, it's like throughout the store, you can't just wander around the store and shop for what you want. You have to basically follow the crowd, in order through the aisles, because it's, the carts are bumper to bumper kind of deal. And Lord help you if you forget something, you'll never get back to it. You have to make sure you get everything you need when you're going through. You can have the last half, dear. I want to save room.
Okay.
I want to save room for my natto and for dessert. Our Costco chocolate muffins. We actually our favorite is the pumpkin muffins, but you can only get the pumpkin muffins around Halloween, Thanksgiving time. Of course, I'm probably telling you something that you already know. You people are probably more familiar with Costco than I am. Costco, the closest Costco until this month, the closest Costco was about 2.5 hour drive away. And like I said, always busy on the weekend, so a little bit less appealing to go there. But now that it's right in town, yeah, I'm going to be going there as often as possible. Love the Costco lunch counter. Huge slice of pizza for a reasonable price. Huge hot dog. I mean, everything. Yeah, and it's American size, right? Volume. Japanese are just amazed. Yeah, probably. I don't know. In America, when you think of Costco, the lunch counter, do you think of the portions as being particularly large? Maybe not in America. Here, they're just outrageous. I mean, just huge. One slice of pizza is almost the size of, is about the size of a whole small pizza. Your average small pizza in Japan is about the same volume of food as one slice of Costco pizza. That was delicious. I've still got a little beer left. Lovely. Okay, I guess we're still going there. Yeah, for some reason my display on my phone seems to freeze every once in a while. It's still broadcasting, I guess.
Just like mine before, right? I
Yep.
thought it's already
May have to check to see if there's an update for the HAPS app. I didn't check it today. I usually try to check it, but maybe need to update. But anyway, meal is now winding down. How long have we been on here? Only 22 minutes. See, we ate pretty quickly. 22 minutes, and already we're wrapping up the meal.
Did you there's a commenter.
Oh, there's more comment. Oh, do you see Teslas around?
What's that Tesla?
Sorry about that, Theo. You're showing up in my wife's display, but not on mine. Mine is still frozen. Don't know what to do about that. But anyway, Teslas. I mean, I won't say there aren't any, but not so many that you would notice. There might not be any in town. I mean, you do see an occasional, exotic car, a Lamborghini. I mean, you see lots of Audis and BMWs and things like that, of course, but Teslas, I haven't noticed one. No, I haven't noticed any Teslas. Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't mind a Tesla.
What's American car?
Elon Musk, he created the Tesla car.
I know Lamborghini.
Lamborghini. Yeah. Now, it's not a sports car. It's the Teslas, really high tech cars. Yeah, the electric cars. There are some electric cars, but still, you see charging stations around for electric vehicles. No, not really. No, not that I know of. Yeah, I think that they're starting to appear. They're starting to be put in place in the larger metropolitan areas, the Tokyos, Osakas, places like that. So probably, yeah, in that area you can probably find them. I mean, there are a lot of hybrid cars. I mean, I see a lot of hybrid cars. The Prius Aquas and what I mean, and every size and shape. From the tiny little two-person runabout cars to big, you know 9-person, 11-person vans. Hybrid Toyotas are the best. But those are definitely the most popular. They seem to have the advantage in a lot of areas. But yeah, I mean Honda has its hybrids here and so on. Yeah, basically everybody. You see a lot of hybrids. Uh, you know, every company has at least a couple of models, and big companies like Toyota has a dozen different models that are all hybrids. What was your first car? My first car, let's see, my first car was a Ford. And the first car I drove was my father's car, and I kind of inherited it. But the first car that was mine was a Ford. Or no, I guess it was a Mercury Monarch. That's what it was. It was a Mercury Monarch. Again, we're talking what, 45 years ago. So 45 years, that's a long time. There's a lot of cars between my first car and now. Now I'm driving a Honda Fit, although I don't drive it very often. I basically walk most of the places I ever go. Had a 86 Pontiac Trans Am. I had a Pontiac Le Mans for a while. Did I have the Le Mans before?
I had the Le Mans before I had the Monarch. I don't know. I used to trade cars a lot. But yeah, Pontiac Le Mans was a nice car. You know, it had uh, the 350 two-barrel carburetor. Yeah, I remember the back roads. You know, the rural areas. I owned a Honda Fit, great gas mileage. Yeah, a Honda Fit. Yeah, I have great gas mileage. That Le Mans, I remember going up to see a girl one time, and on the straight rural, you know, nicely paved, smooth, and so on. Iowa has really good roads. At least they used to when I lived there. But even in the rural areas, the paved roads are really quite straight, quite smooth. You know, high quality, and you could fly along those. And I remember going like 115 or 120 miles an hour, and there was some car in front of me, and it was, you know, I could see clear for miles, you know, so I just didn't slow down a bit, just whipped right around, and got to the girl's house, and about 10-15 minutes later a car pulls in, and it was the car that I had passed, and it was the girl's mother. So that didn't make a very good impression. It's like, oh, you're not going to drive my daughter anywhere driving like that. Always wondered why my parents let me buy a Trans Am. I needed to fill it up every other day because it leaked gas. Oh, my dad told me that I never needed an oil change because it always leaked out the bottom. Yeah, just
Because it's always
keep putting it in the top and it leaks out the bottom, right? Yeah, you got a never-ending oil change going on there.
Her,
Okay.
you can't drive like that. That's very strict.
Yeah.
Every 2 years, like for the
Yeah.
overhauling.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah, here you have to get. You know, in America, you have to have your car inspected every time you sell your car. But here, even if you keep the same car every 2 years, you have after the initial 3 years, you buy a car, and then for the first 3 years it's fine. But then after that, every 2 years you have to have it inspected, uh, emissions and safety inspection. Now I drive a Tesla Model 3. Okay, Tesla, cool. Yeah.
You can't have a car here for 3 cars because the overhauling is expensive.
Yeah, the overhauling is expensive. It'll be, you know, at least $500 or $600 at least for just about any car, and it can be, you know, more than $1,000 quite commonly, just for that every 2 year inspection. Um, yeah. Plus, if you buy a car in Japan, you have to have proof of a parking space. I don't know if large metropolitan areas in other places do that also, but yeah, that was a surprise to me. Thought that was very strange. You can't buy the car unless you can prove you got a place to park it. What time is it? It's about 20 minutes before 5 o'clock in the afternoon. But my wife gets up early to go to work, and so I usually get up early too. So our schedule is kind of rotated, a couple hours ahead of most other people.
I woke up 4:30. I
Yeah.
leave here 5:15.
Yeah, yeah. She wakes up at 4:30. 2:40 a.m. in Nashville. Yep. 2:40. Yeah. So 14 hours. Yeah. So you want to know what it's like in the future? I can tell you what it's going to be like 14 hours from now.
You want?
14. Yeah, I'll take some. Pineapple juice. Filipinos love their pineapple juice. Thank you. Nice.
feel like I'm at an advantage talking to you. Like you're at an advantage. In what way? Like I said, we're in the future. It's already Tuesday evening here. I always miss the Family Feud. Oh yeah. Well, so tomorrow, like I said, tomorrow it'll be at let's see, it'll be about 7 p.m. I think 7 p.m. your time tomorrow evening. This evening. 12, 13, 14, 15. Yeah, 16 hours from now. Right. Yeah, 16 hours from now. So, yeah, do that. Do. Please join in. You can win yourself a custom made certificate of recognition. If you place in the top 3, all our top 3 finishers win a certificate of recognition. Either a winner's first or winner's first place, or second or third place. Always a fun time. Yeah, it is good. Part of the biggest part of it, or a big part of the fun, is making fun of the people that answered the surveys, because sometimes their answers just don't make any sense at all. I mean, you wonder what those people must have been thinking to come up with those kind of answers. So it's a lot of fun, but sometimes parsing dividing the answers into, does that fit into the category or that category of answer or whatever, to decide who gets what points can be a little bit difficult. Sometimes you're in that category, yeah. I don't know if you know Takata, but Takata is by sheer number of victories, quite dominating in the Family Feud or Friendly Feud game. Yeah, she has won the large majority of the games. And when she doesn't win, she generally comes in second. Some of my answers, I overthink them. Yeah. Yeah, I would guess that looking at the answers that I've seen that people give from the survey, they definitely don't overthink their answers. Maybe should have taken just a little more time to think through their answers. I don't know. But yeah, it's always a good time, interesting, and everybody's more interested in having fun than they are in winning, so that also helps. Anxiety gets the best of people sometimes. Yeah. Yeah, I understand that. So I could understand why some of our players would give a little bit off the wall answers sometimes. You're under pressure to get an answer in quickly. But the people that answered the survey, I'm wondering, what kind of pressure they might have been under that caused them to just go off the farm and give such strange answers. Yeah. I don't know. It's it's a puzzlement, but it's interesting, and it makes for fun conversation. We can all collectively make fun of the anonymous people that have filled out the surveys. It's bonding. That's what it is. It's bonding. Yeah. Those guys, they're crazy. We know that that's not a good answer. Yeah. And none of us, nobody takes it so seriously. We can all laugh at ourselves at our kind of off the wall answers that we come up with. That's true, or they might be making fun of us. Yeah. They might if anybody knew that I was broadcasting a game with their data. And although HAPS allows us to broadcast to Facebook and Twitter and YouTube and everything all at the same time, I have a feeling that well, I know that there aren't that many people that are watching my little broadcast, so I don't think those people that took the survey are probably aware even that I'm doing this game. But that's all right. That's all right. No copywriting infringement here. No, I don't. I just there was no indication of where I just found a database of Family Feud question and answers. It was in like an Excel file with literally hundreds of questions.
Want tea now? I'm going
Yep.
to Balboa.
Yeah, let's have some tea. Literally hundreds of questions with their answers, and yeah, it was quite a find. You know, that's what allowed me to get started, and I wasn't sure how popular it was going to be when I got started, but turned out to be fairly popular. I think it was a good choice to do that. That was a lucky find. Get our teapot out here. What do we got here? We got ginger and probiotics. Theo, thank you very much. Wow. Super Clap Award. Amazing. Thank you so much for that. Thank you. I appreciate it very, very much. Always surprised. Always very, very grateful to everyone, to anyone that gives me any kind of an award, and something as significant as that Super Clap. That's really nice. Thank you. Anyway, so this is going to have some herbal tea here. Make our own mix. This is ginger and probiotics. So it's got ginger, of course, cinnamon, licorice, cardamom, hawthorn, turmeric, Bacillus coagulans, star anise, and black pepper. So there you go. Maybe add a little more cinnamon to that. And then we've got, this one is, it's the last one we got. This one is ginger and lemongrass. So the lemongrass flavoring in there also. A little more ginger. And the ginger and the cinnamon. Should be a pretty good mix. We like it anyway. Celestial Seasonings, yeah. Even over here, Celestial Seasonings is not amazingly popular, but it's not unknown at all. Herbal teas. Good stuff. Blended in Boulder, Colorado. There you go. Fresh from the Rocky Mountains. Okay. I do love cinnamon. I'm a little, he throws me a little jealous. You do love cinnamon, you know. And Gracel Gerber, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Where do you hail from? We've just finished a little meal here, and we're about to have some herbal tea, some Celestial Seasonings, ginger and probiotics mixed with a little ginger and lemongrass, and a little extra cinnamon in there. And maybe we'll have a little bit of dessert also. We've got some chocolate muffins from Costco. Like I said before, our favorite are the pumpkin muffins, but we can only find those around from around Halloween until past Thanksgiving, right? Yum. Yes. Cheers to your health. Thank you. Yes, sounds amazing. Thank you. Yeah. Um, yeah, the herbal tea, in the evenings, don't like to have any caffeine. I generally uh, only have a couple of cups of coffee in the morning, and I even try to skip coffee on weekends just so I don't build up a caffeine tolerance or whatever. Before I remember drinking coffee religiously every morning and drinking it basically all day until about 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I want to get into tea, but find myself a bit intimidated. Oh, no, no, no. I mean, it's just try whatever sounds good to you, and yeah, why not? Just try it. And I mean, the teas and the herbal teas. So the herbal teas, um, yeah, look for something that's popular. It's probably popular because it has pretty good, a pretty good flavor to it. Sorry about that. Um, and we've tried a lot of different ones, a lot of different herbal teas, several different celestial seasonings, blends, and so on. But then, the black teas and green teas and jasmine teas and Earl Greys and so on. Yeah, we've tried a lot. Um, what's disappointing is you find teas that have the same name but don't really, you get them from two different sources and they don't taste anything at all alike. So, for example, uh, I like Earl Grey from uh, certain uh, tea companies, but from others, it just seems like regular tea to me, just regular black tea. The bergamot flavoring is really uh, almost missing, and but some places I get it from, it's has quite a nice uh, aroma of the bergamot. And jasmine. Sometimes it's more or less jasmine-y, and jasmine is, again, it depends on the tea company. Um, some to be jasmine tea, it just has to be flavored with the jasmine. The process of making tea freaks you out. Oh, well, I mean, for us, it's not an exact science at all. We've got this big ceramic teapot that we dump a couple of bags in and fill it up with hot water and let it steep for about 4 minutes, and then it's good to go. And one thing about tea, you're not sure how long to brew it. You can, let it steep for a little while, pour some into a cup, look at it, smell it. It's not doesn't have the sufficient aroma or color to it. You don't think? Well, pour it back in the pot and let it steep a little more. Nothing wrong with that, as long as you're doing it from a clean cup right back into it. Yeah, it's okay from my perspective anyway. Now, Japanese tea, they've got it down more to a science with the Japanese tea. Um, the water needs to be a certain. You don't want the water too hot with the Japanese green tea. You don't want to bruise the leaves. I don't know, burn the leaf. You don't want the water too hot. Um, and You don't want to agitate the teapot while the tea is brewing. Um, should be gentle with it and so on, so you don't raise a lot of sediment and stuff like that into the tea itself. And of course, that's completely different still than the matcha, the powdered tea that you mix the tea directly into the water and stir it up and drink it like that. Not not the leaves, but actually the leaves that are taken and powderized into, like powdered as fine as your cinnamon is, right? This is a fine chocolate muffin. And why it's called a muffin, I don't know. To me, it seems like a cupcake. I mean, to me, muffins are less sweet. Maybe this is less sweet. It seems plenty sweet to me. Got chocolate chips inside. Seems like a cupcake. Muffins are cake in my eyes, yeah. I mean, certain muffins, a plain muffin, or even, like a blueberry muffin, are just mildly sweet. But this, like I said, I mean, I guess maybe this is mildly sweet compared to standard American type chocolate cake. But generally, cakes are less sweet. They contain less sugar in Japan than something equivalent in America. And at first, I love blueberry muffins. Yeah, blueberry muffins are great. They really are. Our Costco here, they had, the pumpkin muffins I was talking about. Those are good. That was more like a muffin, even less sweet than these chocolate muffins. And blueberry muffins they have, and a French toast muffin, which was interesting and pretty good. But then they had a milk tea muffin, especially in Texas. Everything is big in Texas. That's right. They had a milk tea, a tea muffin, and I couldn't go for that. I like tea, I like muffins, but I don't want my muffins to taste like tea. I don't like milk tea ice cream. I don't like tea flavored things. I like tea, but not tea flavored things. I'd pass on that one too. Yeah, yeah. There's just certain flavors that the original are good, but the flavored, something that's flavored with that, it just doesn't go.
Dairy Queen over. What's that Dairy Queen?
No Dairy Queens here. At least, not that I've ever seen. Maybe they do in Tokyo, and I just never stumbled across one. I mean, here where I live, we don't have Wendy's, but I know that there are, or at least have been, Wendy's and Burger Kings and things like that in Tokyo, but we don't have those here. We have Pizza Huts and Domino's Pizza. Of course, you got the McDonald's and Kentucky Fried Chicken. But yeah, no Dairy Queen. Dairy Queen reminds me of home because in my little home, stuffed crust, yeah, they do the stuffed crust here. Yeah, you can get that. My little town where I grew up, there was no McDonald's, no Pizza Hut. I mean, we had, just a family hamburger joint, and there was a pizza place, but, not a Pizza Hut. But we did have a Dairy Queen. We did have a Dairy Queen. Next to a Dairy Queen was always a Subway. Well, my little town, I mean, that was, I don't know. I didn't hear of subways until I was probably in my 20s, I think, before I ever heard of a subway. I mean, maybe they were around before then, but again, being from Iowa, we didn't have any subway, franchises in my area. Um, yeah, and I mean, I like that. That's Dairy Queen and Subway, good combination. Yeah.
Ames, Iowa.
Ames, Iowa. No, I've been to Ames, Iowa, but I was farther east than that. Um, I went to school, undergraduate in Cedar Falls, Iowa, University of Northern Iowa, and then I went to graduate school in Iowa City at the University of Iowa. So yeah, Iowa has 3 state universities: Northern Iowa, Iowa State, and University of Iowa, and I went to 2 of those. Hawkeyes, yes, Hawkeyes, Iowa Hawkeyes. Um, Decent football team some years. Good basketball team, lots of years. Good, not ever, at the top, but good, solid performance. I mean, we play against the likes of Indiana, so you got to be pretty good to be in that league. But wrestling is where Iowa stands out, right? They were great in the 90s. 90s, I was already here in Japan, kind of lost track of my alma mater, trying to keep my head above water over here. That was interesting. And when I guess I basically know Iowa, University of Iowa, the 80s, from like 1980 until 88 when I came to Japan. That's the era of Iowa that I knew. The Hayden Fry football and what was the guy's name? The little guy, the basketball coach, and then I can't even remember.
And that makes me feel old.
Makes you feel old, yeah. Um, yeah. I mean, 90s, anything 90s and after in America, I don't know really any better than any other foreigners in the world. I got my information through mass media, basically, and a little bit from family and friends that I still know in the States. But yeah, I knew a little more about some television shows and so on, because a lot of Japanese weren't interested in American television. I lost interest in American television, basically. But yeah, so many, cultural trends and so on that were going on in America, I really wasn't aware of, and still am not. Yeah, I kind of get that feeling. Yeah, I don't know. I'm very happy to be in Japan. My parents could never figure it out. My mother still, what's wrong with America? Well, It's less what's wrong with America and just what I have become comfortable with and have learned to like about Japan, I guess. Yeah, I mean, I've talked about this on, let's see, it's a little nuts, yeah. I mean, some of the things, even over here, we heard of, the Game of Thrones, is so famous world over. And it was, I think they were into the last season, or maybe it was between the seventh season and the eighth season when I finally had heard enough about Game of Thrones that I thought, okay, I'll give it a watch. And everybody was just saying, "Oh, it's so great!" You start watching it, you're gonna binge it, And so I started watching it, and I thought, okay. I mean, for one thing, it pissed me off right away because what's his name? Jon Snow's father. What the main character at the beginning, the father at the beginning who gets killed right away. I can't even remember the guy's name, but whatever. That pissed me off because I liked his character. He was the only decent person in the whole show, I thought. And when he died off, and there wasn't another character that I really cared about enough to follow up on. I managed to watch, I think, either 3 or 4 seasons. People told me, "Oh, the second and third season are better than the first, and it gets better after that." And so even if the first season isn't all that great, if you just stick it out after you get into the second or third season, you really like it. And so I did, but I didn't. I stuck it out, but I didn't really get into it. So after whatever 3.5 or 4 seasons, I just quit. My tastes are not necessarily mainstream, I guess. New character. I hear there's a lot of new characters. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, there were some new characters. I mean, I kind of liked what's his name, uh, the little guy actor, the what's his name, Peter Dinkle, is it? I liked him, but didn't care for it. Yeah, I didn't either. There are a few shows that I like. I like um, who's the guy? Sure, the guy that did Brooklyn Nine-Nine and Parks and Recreation and The Good Place. Um, yeah, Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I watched several seasons of that, and Parks and Recreation. I think I caught a couple of episodes. Uh, get the feeling I should have watched more of that. The Good Place. I've seen all 4 seasons of The Good Place at least twice. Really like that one. Seinfeld. Seinfeld, yeah. Interesting. Yeah. Seinfeld, the show was pretty good. Seinfeld. Don't have cable anymore. Seinfeld, as a person, I don't know how I mean, I don't know him well enough. I haven't seen enough of him, but I saw an interview with Seinfeld on Larry King, and Larry King said something about, so you quit the show, right? You ended the show. They didn't cancel you, right? And Seinfeld just got all bent out of shape because of that. He said, "What? I was like the #1 show, blah, blah, blah." Just tooting his own horn. Just he was so incredulous that somebody would actually ask the question. Were you canceled or did you choose to quit? He was just, and I thought, wow. I mean, Okay. Just made me. But I kind of like this character. I don't know. So many subscriptions to sign up for now in US. It was funny.
And in hops.
I think he's talking about TV. Yeah.
Yayam told me that Kumu is famous in Philippines.
Kumu. I tend to like the British comedians, comedy shows, at least as well or better than the American. So like The Office. I really liked, the original Ricky Gervais, The Office, even though it only ran for 2 seasons plus a couple of specials and like that, and each season was only 6 episodes or something like that, 12 episodes. I can't remember now. So a very limited run, but I felt that each episode was really well done. The whole concept was original, well executed. Um, and then the Steve Carell did, and I like Steve Carell. Um, I thought he did a pretty good job, but the fact that they milked it for however many seasons, what was it, 6 seasons, 8 seasons, or whatever. I didn't really think there was that much material there. I thought it was stretched a little thin toward the end. That's what I like about the British is that they tend to go for a more limited run, and because they figure, oh, I've only got so much good material in me, and I'll it's not that I'm going to milk this for the last dollar. I'm going to continue until I run out of good ideas, and then I'll stop. And with America, it's all about the dollars, and it doesn't matter how contrite, how contrived the show becomes, as long as it's making money. As long as the advertisers are still buying the advertising time, they'll still do it. Faulty Towers, another British comedy that I just love. John Cleese was in it. Just great. It's no longer politically correct, at least some of the episodes, but I thought it was just absolutely hilarious. What was it? I used to watch All in the Family. All in the Family was one that, Archie Bunker and his wife Edith and the daughter and this son-in-law. He's such a bigoted, guy, and even had the spin-off, The Jeffersons, I guess, was a spin-off from that, and so on. But that was an American remake of a British comedy show the British comedy show. I haven't been able to. I've seen a couple episodes, and didn't really see enough to really get into it. I could see the similarities, but didn't see enough to say that it was better. But I've heard other people that say that it was even better than All in the Family. So I don't know. Yeah. So much TV. And generally they just tend to go on too long. American television that I used to watch, like Friends. I watched Friends, what was it, on 10 seasons, I think, and I watched all 10 seasons. But after about season 4, I really think they should have wrapped it up. It just got so contrived, I thought, and at first it seemed pretty natural. But And I watched it and enjoyed it till the end on a certain level, but then there was another part of me saying, "Yeah, you guys have just carried this on a little bit too far." Hmm. Yes, YouTube. Oh man, YouTube is downright dangerous, isn't it? I mean, you get on there and you watch something, and then over on the right hand pops up, all these recommended videos, based on what you've been watching. They'll say, "Oh, you watch this? Well, you might like this and this and this and this and this." And by gory, that's exactly what I like, and I watch them, and then they give me even more suggestions that are just as on the spot. Go down the rabbit's holes. Yes, yeah. Um, yeah, watch these science things. There's a couple of women that do a really good job explaining science concepts. Um, some German woman, what's her name? I can't remember. And yeah, there's some German woman, probably early 30s, I would guess. And then there's a younger British woman, another science nerd, and then an American young woman that does these things too, and they're all really interesting. Again, if you watch one, then clickbait to the next and the next and the next. Yeah, learning is good. Learning is good. I mean, what else are you going to do while you're here? Of course, what are you going to do with all that knowledge? Nothing. That's not the point, right? The point is not what you're going to do with it. The point is just learning for learning's sake. Why not? Heck not. Yeah. Yeah. My head is full of useless knowledge.
Excuse me.
Well, actually, I wouldn't say it's full of useless knowledge. There's not that much knowledge of any type up there, but yeah, I do enjoy learning too. I like these. There's a guy that I started watching exactly, or how do you use it or share it with others, right? Yeah. Well, I mean, those people found a way. They made YouTube channels and they're sharing it with others, which is really cool. Which we can kind of do that on HAPS, right? In our own tiny little corners of the universe here, we can share what we have, the knowledge that we have gleaned from various sources. You're sharing your knowledge with me now. Yeah. Doesn't take very long, does it? Yeah. But yeah, it's a lot of fun, and yeah, regardless of how useful it is, it's interesting. There's another type of YouTube video that I've started to get into. This guy, Mr. Ballin. He talks about all these kind of strange things, like people that have suddenly gone missing, or they've gone missing in one place and turned up a great distance from where they were without uh, being able to explain how they got there, or talking about people that went to some did something very, very dangerous and survived, or sometimes he tells stories about those that did something dangerous and didn't survive, all these kind of stories. And he does it really, really well. Most of the time he has no illustrations, no videos, no pictures to go with it. It's just him, and he does a good job. He has a voice that's easy to listen to, um, and yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, exactly. Um, yeah, disagreeing. I mean, that's where knowledge comes in, right? I mean, if everybody agreed on everything, you're not going to learn anything, right? If you all have the same idea about everything, then no information is going to come in. You figure out what you disagree on, and then if you can figure out why you disagree on it,
And explain it.
then you might be able to figure out if one idea has more merit than the other. Um, the world would be boring if it were all thought if we all thought the same. Yeah. Um, yeah. And what I try to remind myself is, whenever I'm having an argument, discussion, right? I mean, the logically, it's an argument, right? You you put forth facts, right, and counterfacts and so on.
Argument.
Yeah. Yeah. But the important thing in any argument or discussion is, for me, it's to remember, that it's not, regardless of how the discussion goes, it's not proving or deciding whether I'm right or wrong. It's whether the idea that I hold is right or wrong. I am not equivalent to an idea. And so, therefore, if an idea that I hold is incorrect, that doesn't mean that I'm incorrect. That means that the idea was incorrect. And, that was the idea that I had. But again, since the idea is not me, I'm ready to give up that idea in the face of compelling evidence to the contrary. And that's what it's all about: being willing to give up your ideas in the face of compelling evidence to the contrary. Yeah, your idea. Yeah, the idea might be correct. Yeah, right, but that doesn't mean that I'm correct. The idea might be correct. And again, I guess this is arguing semantics, but I don't think it's my idea, because, I mean, even on the off chance that I happen to have, be the first one to articulate some particular idea, doesn't mean that it's really my idea in any sense of ownership and so on. I mean, I got that idea from influences and teachers and people around me, so it's not really my idea. But like I said, an idea that I hold, an idea that I believe to be true, could be true. It could be correct. But if it is correct, that doesn't mean that I'm correct. It means that the idea that I thought was correct is correct. And if the idea is wrong, it doesn't mean I'm wrong. It's simply that the idea that the opinion that I held, the idea that I held, is not correct. Which I think, I'm not one to give people advice. I shouldn't be.
I love your knowledge.
But, if more people would disconnect from their ideas, would recognize the fact that, if their idea is wrong, it doesn't make them less of a person. It doesn't make them wrong. It's, in fact, if anything, recognizing that an idea that you held for a period of time is not correct. I mean, that recognition is a very significant thing, is a major step in self-improvement, in increasing your knowledge, because you've recognized something that you were wrong about, or that the idea that I mean, that's what, I say that too, because I grew up in the culture, talking about I'm right and you're wrong. But that should never be, that shouldn't be a phrase that's ever said. It should be, the ideas that you are saying, right, that you are articulating, are not correct. The ideas that I am articulating are correct. It's not me. It's not even my idea. Cool. See, we agree. There we go. Yeah. That's the other thing that I think. I mean, one is, people, separate themselves from the ideas that they hold. Right? They don't identify with the ideas that they hold. Is a major thing. But what's the other thing is, and it's a pain in the butt, but getting clear about the terms that you're talking about, right? So if you're talking about
climate change. I mean, for example, so what exactly do you mean by climate change, and what exactly is the evidence for that? And I mean, that's a bad example, but whatever, exactly what do you mean by that? I mean, even something as simple as good, right? Oh, that's good. Well, what do you mean that that's good? That means that it is agreeable to you, that you believe that it's agreeable to a majority of people that are like you. So, you're uh, a middle-aged white male. So you believe that the majority of middle-aged white males would also, hold a similar view, that is a good thing, or what does it mean to say something is good or bad? um, and if you can't agree on what is good and bad, then it really becomes difficult to talk about a lot of things. Yeah, it gets really. I mean, something as something like so is murder a bad thing? Is murder a bad thing? Well, what do you mean exactly? Well, what do you mean by bad, right, is one thing, but also what do you mean by murder? So, you know, the intentional ending of another individual's life. Um, there are people that would say murder is bad, and yet therefore the death penalty, and yet the death penalty under that definition I just gave, where the executioner pushes the button or pulls the switch or pushes the syringe or whatever, that's doing something, carrying out an action with the intention of ending someone's life. That's murder, right? So, um, so you have to be very, and the legal definitions are never sufficient. We know that. That's why that we have lawyers to crawl through the loopholes that they leave when they write the laws and so on. So, but really agreeing to the atomic level about what different terms mean is really essential to being able to either agree on something or to understand clearly what it is that you disagree about. I kind of think that's the problem that religions have. What is it exactly that they disagree about? I would argue that Islam, Christianity, and Judaism have a lot more in common than there are differences. I mean, I'm not a biblical scholar. I'm not a religious scholar at all, but, as a layman looking at them, the overlap is significant. Very true, but everyone's levels are different. Yeah, everyone's levels are different. Um, and it's pretty easy to get above my level, and I just have to find someone whose opinion, based on things that I can understand, uh, whose opinion about these other, based on the things that I can understand, this person whose opinions I generally agree with, to look to them for guidance into those areas that are just beyond me, right? Appeal to an expert kind of thing, which is a danger in itself. Um, but yeah, I mean, things get beyond any of us. No one is an expert in every area. And some of us are not experts in any area. Jack of all trades, master of none. Yeah. But I don't think I've had any epiphanies or any
light switches, being turned on and so on. Things that I have come to realize have come over time. I can't look back and say, oh, before that I thought this way, and after that I thought it another way. It's all been a gradual change. Hmm. But I think, therefore I am. No, I think that, I'm moving in a direction that is good for me. Um, I'm feeling more comfortable. I always have had a short temper. I mean, things annoy me. That's one of my, one of the things that I dislike about myself, is that I'm not more patient about things. Um, it's like if I say something and I think that I presented the argument clearly and succinctly, that everybody should understand that, and I'm like irritated that, oh, what, I said it clearly, why don't you understand? But if I can just slow my roll a little bit, if I can just take a step back and think about it, and think about myself in in the same situation or another situation where the opposite is the case. Somebody explains something and I don't catch it. But yeah, it's like, I guess I make the mistake of thinking that everyone's as smart as I am. I mean, that wouldn't be saying much for everyone to be as smart as I am. You don't have to be very smart to be as smart as I am. And so, like, shit, if I can understand it, then anybody ought to be able to. um, yeah, it's still, I feel that a little bit sometimes. It's like baffling to me. If I understand this, why why don't you? Um, then I rub elbows with somebody that's really intellectual, and they'll be telling me something, and I'm like totally lost. It's like, oh, okay, so maybe that's what some people feel like sometimes when they listen to me. I don't know. You ready to play Uno, dear?
Uno, uno. Oh no.
Uno. All right. Did you wipe the table? Is it all clean of all the whatever? I don't know what's going on with my camera. Let's see. Sure, everyone's leveled it very different. Yeah.
Just like before, but when
Oh.
you are going to,
All right. I think we got a little bit of a problem here. Both. I mean, we're using two iPhones here, and
hala, it's hung up.
yeah, both of the displays on our phones are frozen. I can hear a little bit of sound. I think that's my voice, but I cannot. The comments are not, new comments are not appearing anymore. So the last thing I see on the screen is very true. Everyone's levels are different, and after that, the screen froze and cannot see it. Let's see. Yeah, I guess we could do that. Go on to another just to watch.
Why? Maybe we can.
They don't have haps here.
What happened?
What happened?
What haps? What's haps and
Let's see. What do we got going here now? Social networking. That's what I want. And Haps. Haps, what's happening? Hello, Haps.
What happened?
Oh, you're so slow. What's going on? No, I've got too many whatever. Too many. I'm on a good strong signal. Let's try that again. Got too many background applications open. Sometimes it's slow. I'm gonna try and see if I can get back in here, find out what. Get back in here. Oh, find out what.
No, it's here.
Get back in here. Oh, find out what.
No, it's here.
Get back in here. All right, you're gonna have to turn off your microphone there. All right, you're gonna have to. Let's see.
Something happened.
Let's see. If I just watch. If I just watch. If I just watch. All right, gotta turn that down. All right, how does that work? All right, I think we're good. We're still broadcasting, but let's see. Well, there. Good night, virtual. Got to go to bed now. Nice chatting with you. Some of us are just here to listen. Okay, well, thanks. I guess you've signed off now. That's cool. Thanks for dropping by. Yeah, we'll play a game.
So maybe we have to off that, then another.
Off
Oh
that.
no, oh no, games, because just like stopping.
Let's see. If I do this.
Update recommended. The version of House will soon no longer be supported. Will soon no longer be supported. Please update the apps from the App Store at your earliest convenience. App Store from the App Store. So that's why, because we didn't update.
Everything's just freezing. This one froze too.
Oh, because their update is no longer. It's no longer. What do you call that?
Well, I can't even quit this. Oh, this one went black. Well, I don't know what's going on. All right, well,
Here.
show live. Okay. Oh, so it took that over. All right. If I go live there, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, hello again. Hello. All right. So, like I said, in case you didn't hear, I'm going to end this and then start a new broadcast because this one seems to be a little glitchy. Going to see if the HAPS update that we forgot to do before we started this broadcast, if that is going to straighten some things out. So